how to stop your negative thinking, the easiest way to think of it is through this analogy. Imagine if you have water, right? And you go up to a flower bed and you just pour water all over the entire flower bed. Well, you have flowers that will grow naturally, and you have weeds that will grow naturally as well. Think of the water as your energy throughout the entire day. But the difference is you can actually decide where you're going to pour that water, where you're going to put your energy throughout the day. If you decide that you want to go up to a pile of weeds and put water just on the weeds, that's your decision. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to have weeds grow taller and stronger. Not only will they get taller and stronger, they will also get deeper roots. And the deeper those roots get, the stronger that bond and the harder that it will be to actually pull out. Now, the exact same thing is true on the other side. If you go up to just the flowers and you could just somehow figure out a way to just water the flowers, then you're going to have just the flowers grow. Maybe every once in a while you have a weed grow and you just pluck that thing right out. But you have the flowers grow, and the bigger and stronger, the more energy and water that you put into those flowers, the stronger and deeper the roots will get and the harder it will be to pull that out as well. It's the exact same thing. The weeds are like your negative thoughts. If you put all of your energy into what you don't want, then you're going to get more of that. It's going to get deeper and deeper rooted into your brain and harder for you to break that habit the longer that you allow it to go. But it's not impossible to break, because if you stop watering the weeds, guess what will happen? They will eventually die. If you stop putting your energy into all of the negativity, you'll stop thinking negative. And so what happens is if you go and you put all of your energy into the positive thinking, just like the flowers, the roots grow deeper, they become stronger, it becomes easier for you to think positive. That's what you have to realize. So now, the other thing you have to realize is I know that negativity tends to be a habit. You start to notice yourself going down that path of negativity, right? If you notice yourself watering the weeds, putting your energy into the negative, what you do is you snap out of it. As soon as you notice it, you go, oh my God, I'm watering the weeds. I need to stop watering the weeds. And you stop watering the weeds and you take that energy, you take that water, start watering the flowers. Start putting the energy into the positive, right? And a lot of people are like, but my life is so hard. There's so many things that are going wrong right now. I have this happening and this happening, this. And I get it, right? Life can be really hard sometimes, but there's always something to be grateful for. So when you notice yourself going down that negative path, the best thing for you to do once you stop watering the weeds, stop putting your energy into negative, is go, what can I be grateful for right now? That's the question to ask yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm going down this negative route. I'm watering the weeds. Let me stop for a second. Let me close my eyes. Let me take a couple deep breaths and ask myself, what can I be grateful for right now? Right? You have food, water, shelter, clothing, some way to get this information to you through the internet, which means you probably have a phone service or a computer service, which means you might have a little bit extra money to be able to pay for something like that. Even if it's just a couple dollars, you have a surplus of money, right? And the other thing that you can think of, if you have nothing, if you have no food, water, shelter, clothing, nobody that loves you in this world, you have your breath and you have your heartbeat. There's always something to be grateful for. So when you notice yourself going down the negative path, you ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in this moment right now? And that is the key to being positive, is to not ignore the negative, but to stop putting so much energy into the negative and stop watering the weeds. You start putting energy into the positive and watering the flowers.
Many of us today are lost in negativity and pessimism. It's the kind of life that we have accustomed ourselves with. Our day starts with getting updates of news from around the world. Headlines of accidents, domestic abuse, violence, murder, terrorism. Our day ends with the evening updates of deaths, crime, destruction. All these anxieties and more are killing our optimism. It's very easy to get lost and absorbed in the realities of this life and become depressed and lose sight of the bigger picture. The word optimism is defined as hopefulness and confidence about the future or the success of something. And Islam is a great advocate of optimism. It encourages its followers to have a positive outlook on life. It tells us to hope for the best from Allah. Hence, being optimistic is a part of Islam and a prerequisite to having a strong and unwavering faith. In fact, all incidents in a Muslim's life become a source of goodness owing to his or her optimistic and positive attitude. So being optimistic is actually being an achiever. Even Winston Churchill once said, "A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty." So focus on solutions, not problems. Look for opportunities, not excuses. A results-driven, positive attitude is the mark of an achiever in this life and in the hereafter. Stop indulging in negative thoughts. Stop talking about things that don't concern us. Keep our eyes on the bigger picture. Have tawakkul in Allah. Be grateful to Allah. Start our day with empowering du'as. Keep company with positive and result-oriented people. Engage in physical exercise. Try to expose ourselves less to the media and news, and smile.
The believer only thinks good of Allah. The believer does not allow his mind to wander to negative thoughts, to evil thoughts. The believer focuses on the positive and thinks the best thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith in Abu Dawood that to have good thoughts of Allah, inna husna dhan billah, it is of the perfection of worshipping Allah. You want to worship Allah, you begin with the mind. You begin with your thoughts. You begin with where your waswasa goes. You want to worship Allah, before you look at your actions, you look at your heart and you look at your mind. When we're trapped against a wall, when it looks like all the doors have been shut, when we are facing anxiety, stress, grief, worries, our thoughts should think positive thoughts. We should say, Allah will take care of this. We should think, Allah will solve my problems. We should have husna dhan in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever your situation, whether it is economic problem, you're hunting for a job, you are in debt, you have financial issue, whether it is a family problem, spouse issue, whether it is your son or daughter, whether it is a sickness, whether it is this global plague and pandemic, we think the best thoughts. When we make dua to Allah, we should have yaqeen that Allah will answer our dua. Make dua to Allah and you have yaqeen that Allah will give you what you want or something better than that. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah is so generous that when His servants raise his hands to Allah, Allah is too shy to allow that hand to come back down without putting something in it. So whenever you raise your hands to Allah for anything, have good thoughts that Allah will give me what I'm asking or something better that I don't know and Allah knows, but He shall give me something. So we have good thoughts of Allah when we make dua.